The roar of the crowd, the smell of burnt rubber, the Daytona 500. It's more than just a race, folks, it's a spectacle. And this year the spectacle did not disappoint. Joey Logano, in his Shell Pennzoil Ford, took home the checkered flag. He drove a heck of a race. Dominant, strategic. It was his second Daytona 500 victory, a true champion's performance. Logano started strong. He grabbed the lead early, he controlled the pace. He won stage 1. It looked like smooth sailing for the 22 team. But this is Daytona. And as we all know, anything can happen at Daytona. The energy in the air was electric. Fans were on the edge of their seats. This was shaping up to be a classic Daytona 500, and we were just getting started. The first stage was a chess match. Drivers were jockeying for position. They were trying to avoid trouble, but trouble was lurking just around the corner. The green flag dropped on stage 2, the pack tightened up, and then it happened. A chain reaction, a tangle of metal, smoke filled the air. The caution lights flashed. It was a big one. Several cars were involved. Some were able to continue. Others were done for the day. It was a stark reminder of the risks these drivers take. Every time they strap into those cars, the crowd gasped. A collective holding of breath. These moments are the toughest part of our sport. You never want to see anyone wreck. The safety crews were on the scene in an instant, working tirelessly to extricate drivers and clear the track. We were all grateful for their bravery and skill. The race resumed after a lengthy delay, but Mother Nature wasn't done yet. Rain clouds gathered over the speedway, the skies opened up, and the race was red flagged. The delay lasted for over an hour. Drivers waited anxiously in their cars. Crews huddled in the pits, fans took cover, the tension was palpable. Rain delays are a part of racing, especially at Daytona, but that doesn't make them any less frustrating, for the drivers, the crews, or the fans. Finally, the rain subsided, the track dried, and the race was back on. The Daytona 500 always draws a crowd, celebrities, athletes, politicians, and this year was no exception. But one guest of honor stood out from the rest. Former President Donald Trump made an appearance at the race. He even took a lap around the track in his motorcade. The crowd went wild. It was a surreal moment. Seeing a former president cruising around the track, it just goes to show you the power of NASCAR and the excitement it generates. Trump's presence added another layer of intrigue to an already unforgettable day. It was a reminder that the Daytona 500 is more than just a race. It's a cultural event. Section 5. Fords fight back. Despite the chaos of the early stages, Ford drivers showed their strength in Stage 2. They worked together, they drafted well, and they put themselves in a position to win. Logano was back at the front, but he wasn't alone. Team Penske teammate Austin Cindric was right there with him, along with several other Ford Mustangs. The Fords were strong, they had speed, they had strategy, and they were hungry for victory. It was a battle of attrition out there, but the Ford drivers were up to the challenge. Section 6. Starting from the back. Several drivers faced an uphill battle at this year's Daytona 500. Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, and others were forced to start at the rear of the field due to various pre-race issues. Engine changes, failed inspections, backup cars. It was a tough break for these drivers, but they didn't give up. Starting at the back is never easy, especially at a super speedway like Daytona. But these drivers fought hard. They made their way through the field, and they proved their resilience. Section 7. Echoes of Daytona's past. The Daytona 500 has a rich history. It's a race that's been won by legends. Names like Petty, Earnhardt, Gordon, and this year, Joey Logano added his name to that illustrious list. Logano's win was a reminder of the legacy of this race, and the significance of etching your name in the record books. The Daytona 500 is a race that every driver dreams of winning. It's a crown jewel of our sport, and a victory that stays with you forever. Section 8. A look ahead. Logano's victory at Daytona was a statement. It showed that he's a contender, that he's got what it takes to win a championship. The win gives Logano momentum, confidence, and a target on his back. The rest of the field will be gunning for him now. The season is young, but Logano has set the bar high. He's the one to beat, and I, for one, can't wait to see what he does next. The Daytona 500 is in the books, but the journey is just beginning, and I have a feeling it's going to be a wild ride.